Hey everyone, it's John here, and in this video we're going to take a look at the XLOOKUP function. So this is a newer function available in Excel for Office 365, and it's meant to replace VLOOKUP and fix some of the issues associated with that function. So we're going to take a look at 7 examples in this video. Let's get to it. The first example we're going to take a look at is a vertical lookup with an exact match. So this is going to be the most common use case that you use the XLOOKUP function for. So here we've got a data set and we've got product here, and then we've got the associated gross income. And based on a particular value of product line, we want to return the associated gross income. So we can do that with XLOOKUP. So the first argument in our XLOOKUP function is the value you want to look for. So for us, that's going to be this fashion accessories. Then the next input is the lookup array. So this is where you want to look for that value. So here it's our column of product lines. And then we want a return array, which is going to be our gross income. So this is the value that the XLOOKUP function is going to return. And XLOOKUP has some optional arguments, but if we just leave those out, then we're going to get an exact match lookup. And here you can see in my data set here, fashion accessories, the associated gross income is 2586, and that's exactly what the XLOOKUP function is going to return. Now, one optional input that comes next is the if not found input, and this allows you to return something in case the XLOOKUP function isn't able to find what you're looking for. So let's try using that, and we can just input a string or something like that and say not found, and then it's going to return that string whenever it can't find the value here. And I've got software here in my drop-down list, and you can see that it's not in this column here. And so XLOOKUP is going to return that bit of text that I entered in the fourth argument there. Next up, we're going to take a look at a horizontal lookup. So XLOOKUP does both vertical and horizontal lookups. So it's going to replace your VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP functions. Let's see the horizontal lookup in action. So we've got the same data set here. It's just been transposed. So now our product line goes across the columns here, and then the associated data for each product line is just below. Let's check out XLOOKUP for that. So again, we're going to look up fashion accessories. Here we're going to look in this horizontal row here. And then we want to return values from our gross income row here. And again, by default, this is going to be an exact match lookup. So let's press enter. And again, we're going to get 2586 as the result. This next example is just going to show off XLOOKUP's ability to look up from left to right. So one of the big problems with VLOOKUP is that you need to look up values from right to left. So the first column in your lookup table has to be the one that you're looking in, but XLOOKUP doesn't have that issue. So let's take a look at that. So again, we're going to look up fashion accessories. And here in my data, you can see the product line is actually over here and income is over here. So we can still look up in the product line column and then return values from the gross income column here. Press enter. And again, we get 2586 as the result. So as you can see, because the lookup column and the return column are two separate inputs, it has no problem looking up from left to right. In this example, we're going to see how we can use XLOOKUP to perform a two-way lookup. So here I've got a small data set of product lines by city. And then in here, we've got the gross income for each of those cities. And what we want to do is look up revenue based on the category and the city. And then the intersection of those two should be our gross revenue. So let's see how we can use XLOOKUP to perform this type of lookup. So the first thing we're going to look up is our category, fashion accessories. And then we're going to look in this column here. And now our return array, instead of a single column, we're going to give it this entire range here. And let's press enter. And what you're going to see is that we get a row of 3 values here. And then from within this row of 3 values, we're going to use another XLOOKUP to find the correct city and return that value. So let's press F2 and edit this formula. And we're going to wrap this in another XLOOKUP. We're going to look for the city, comma. We're going to look in this row here, comma. And then we're going to return a value from this XLOOKUP function. Let's press enter. And here we've got the value 1027. And you can see that's the intersection of the fashion accessories row and this city right here, 1027. In this next example, we're going to use the XLOOKUP function to return the first or the last occurrence of a match. So here we've got a small data set, and you can see that there's multiple matches for each category. So within each category, we have multiple cities. And what we want to do is either return the first occurrence or the last occurrence of this quantity value here. Let's see how we can do that. So again, the first input is the item we're looking for. So in this case, food and beverages. We're going to look in our product line column here, and we want to return the quantity. And now we've got an optional argument. So if we don't find a match, we're going to return something, and we can give XLOOKUP that value, but we're actually just going to skip that input. So let's type another comment, comma, and we're going to get to the next argument, which is the match mode. And we've got a couple options here. The default is exact match. So let's go with that. And the last input here is where we can search first to last or last to first. So the default is searching first to last. Let's try that one out. And you can see the result that we get is 270. So that's the first value here in our data set for food and beverages. Now let's try searching last to first. Again, we're going to search for food and beverage. We're going to search in our product column, and we want to return the quantity again. We're going to skip the if not found argument. We're going to do an exact match. And this time we're going to go search last to first. And when we press enter, we now get the value 313. And you can see that that's the last value here in the food and beverage category. In this example, we're going to take a look at wildcard lookups. So this is a feature in XLOOKUP that's going to allow you to do some partial matches with certain string characters. So here we've got a small set of data that has invoice ID and gross income. And perhaps what we want to do is return the first invoice ID that starts with a particular number. So we're only concerned with the first 3 characters in this lookup, and the rest can be whatever they happen to be. If we want that kind of a situation, we can use a wildcard lookup. So let's check that out. So again, we're going to look up a value here, and the value here is using the star wildcard character or asterisk character. And that character indicates or can represent any number of characters, whatever they are. So this particular string here, 101, and then the asterisk means that anything that starts with 101 and then has any number of characters after that is going to be considered a match. And then we're going to look up in the ID column and return values in the gross income column. And let's just have it return the string not found if it can't find a value that matches that criteria. And then we also need to enable the wildcard character match in the match mode argument. So that's the last one here. And when we press enter, then we're going to get 1603. And you can see that's the first instance of the invoice ID starting with 101, and then it has some characters after, and the gross income for that is 1603. Let's try another wildcard match. So this time I'm going to try and find something that contains 407. So I'm going to start with my asterisk wildcard character to indicate any number of characters, and then end with my same asterisk character indicating any characters after that 407 can appear, and that will be considered a match. And here I get 628. So you can see here I've got a 407 in the last 4 characters of the ID, and the corresponding income is 628. In the last example, we're going to take a look at the XLOOKUP function's approximate match capabilities. So here I've got a list of percentages, and then in this column here, I've got the associated grade. So for example, 70% and above should be a B, and then anything above 80% would be an A. And what we want to do is look up values or percentages that aren't in this list and return a corresponding grade. So for example, 75%, I would want to return B as the grade. And we can do that with the approximate matches in XLOOKUP. Let's check this out. So in this example, we're going to be looking up a percentage, and we're going to look in this percent column here, and then we want to return the grade. And we're going to return this little bit of text here if we don't find a match. And then what we want to use is the match mode of exact match or next smaller item. So because we're going to be looking up items that aren't necessarily in our list, we're going to want to return the next smaller item. So if we're looking up 75, the next smaller item would be 70, and that would cause the XLOOKUP function to return B. So the input I need is -1, and I'm just going to reference that here. And the last argument is the search mode. And for this example, whether we search from first to last or last to first won't actually matter. So I'm going to search last to first, and that's -1. Let's press enter, and as we would hope for, we get the result of B. So 75% should give us a B grade. And let's just change this to first to last, and we can see that we still get a grade of B. Let's try changing the match mode. So instead of exact match next smaller item, we're going to try this other option here, which is exact match and next larger item. And you can see we actually get an A. So we're trying to look for 75%, and the next larger item in our list is 80%, which is an A. So that's why in this particular example, we want next smaller item. Now, in the inputs, I'm just going to go to the last input argument here. You can see that there's these 2 options here: binary search, sorted in ascending order and descending order. So what those are is actually replicating the VLOOKUP method for approximate match. I'm just going to press escape. And currently when we have our search mode on 1 or 2, which is searching first to last or last to first, it actually turns out that the order of this list here doesn't matter. So I've got this random column using the rand function in order just to sort my list in a randomized order. So now these are out of order, but because I'm using the search mode of first to last or last to first, I'm still getting the correct expected results. Let's check out what happens when we use that binary search. So our list actually needs to be sorted in ascending order to get the correct answer. So here you can see the result of F, and that's definitely not the grade for 75% that we want. Same thing with our binary search sorted in descending order. So in that case, we're going to need our list sorted in descending order. So right now we're getting the incorrect answer. Let's try sorting our percentage in descending order. So largest to smallest. And because our list is now sorted in the correct order, we do in fact get the correct answer of a grade of B. So the binary search option is one that you're likely going to not use, but it is there to replicate the same searching capability of VLOOKUP. Thanks for watching the video. I hope it was helpful. My mission is to teach you how to Excel, and if you want to join me on that mission, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. That way you're not going to miss out on any of my future videos. And that's it for this video. Hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Take care.